Hi. Are all women actually a little bisexual? That is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, sponsored by my t-shirts on Amazon. More about them at the end of the video. Until then, okay, let's talk about this because you all know from my other videos how strongly I feel that it is bad to say that everyone's a little bisexual. A, because you're erasing bisexuals when you say that, and you're erasing other groups. And on top of that, it's not true. And I believe that firmly. However, I did see a study, report of a study this month, and the study was done back in 2017, that tried to answer the question, are all women a little bisexual? And the results really surprised me. So here's the study. What they did is they took 75 women and they put them in this thing called an fMRI machine. And what that does is it measures blood flow in your brain. So there's different parts of the brain responsible for different things. Like, there's a part of the brain responsible for being able to understand language, a part of the brain understanding for being able to interpret what we take in our eyes, the light that we take in our eyes. And there's a part of our brain responsible for reward, meaning that there's a part of our brain that when stimulated releases dopamine. And from another video I did called Am I Bisexual Quiz, you all know how important dopamine is in determining one's sexual orientation, right? Okay, so they stuck these women into this fMRI machine and then showed them images of naked men, images of naked women, of videos of women masturbating, of men masturbating, and of lesbians having sex and gay men having sex. And they determined how much activity happened in this pleasure region of the brain. So more activity means that the person gets a lot of dopamine from what they're watching and they are aroused by it. So what were the results? It turns out that heterosexual women and bisexual women have almost identical responses to images of naked women, images of naked men, of women masturbating, of men masturbating, and of lesbian and gay couples having sex. What? What? That's kind of really shocking. So can you say that all women are a little bisexual? No. And why not? Because I haven't yet mentioned homosexual women. Turns out when you put homosexual women, I'm not going to say lesbians because lesbian is identity, and homosexual actually means their fantasies and their fantasies and their behavior reflects homosexuality, whereas lesbian is just an identity. Anyone can call himself a lesbian. So when you put homosexual women in this fMRI machine and show them images of naked men, the dopamine response in the brain drops tremendously as compared to when you show them images of naked women. The same thing of men masturbating, the same thing of gay men having sex. So whereas bisexual and heterosexual women have almost identical responses to these images, homosexual women do not. So you cannot say that all women are a little bisexual. Can you say that 98% of women are a little bisexual? You kind of can, because there are less than 2% of the population that is homosexual female. So yeah, you can kind of say that 98% of women are a little bisexual. Now, you might be having feelings about this because if heterosexual women and bisexual women are all a little bisexual, then does that mean that there's no need to kind of make a difference between heterosexual and bisexual? Like, doesn't that mean that all women who aren't, homosexual are the same? No. The difference between being heterosexual and homosexual isn't whether or not you are aroused by visual stimuli. It's about whether you are aroused by the idea of you engaging with someone of both the same and opposite gender. So if you are aroused by the idea of kissing another woman, if you're a woman, and kissing another man, then that's what makes you bisexual. Heterosexuals aren't aroused, presumably, aren't aroused by the idea of kissing or having sex with or, engaging romantically with multiple genders, whereas bisexual women are. So can you say that all women are a little bisexual? No, you can't. Can you say that 98% of women are all a little bisexual? Yeah, you can. Can you say that all women or 98% of women are bisexual? You cannot. So isn't that fascinating? And you might ask, well, what about men? Was there a study done on men the same way? Yes, actually, the group who did the study with the women followed that up with a similar study with men, where they took, bisexual, heterosexual, and homosexual men stuck on the fMRI machines and showed them similar images: naked women, naked men, men masturbating, women masturbating, lesbians, and gay men engaging in sex. And what were the results? Distinctly different from the women. So with the men, the part of the brain responsible for dopamine lit up in heterosexual men only when images of women were showed. And in homosexual men, the part of the brain that lit up, responsible for dopamine, lit up only with the same gender images. And with bisexuals, bisexuals lit up when showing images of both men and images of women. So that whole kind of stereotype about, women being a little more bisexual is apparently true. I've always pushed against that, and I've always said that, the difference isn't, a biological thing, it's about a social thing. But here we have evidence that men are simply wired in a different way. Bisexuality is clearly real, and there's wiring in our brain, responsible for certain sort of responses to certain stimuli. But with men, it's much more rigid. Now, again, with women, that rigidity can come into play if you're asking, like, who does the woman want to kiss, or who does the woman want to engage in sex with, and not just what, has a biological response in them. So it's getting more complex with studies, but we're also getting a better understanding of who we are and who other people are and what makes us different and what makes us similar to other groups. So there you have it. Are all women a little bisexual? No. Are all heterosexual and bisexual women a little bisexual? Yes, they are. Wow. Never thought I'd come to that conclusion, but studies are the studies. Granted, keep in mind this was a small study and more studies have to be done, but that's really telling. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you would like more videos like this, you can support the channel. You can do that by checking out my bisexual t-shirts on Amazon. Not only do I have them in short sleeve, but I have them in long sleeve, in sweatshirts, and in hoodies. I have about 15 different designs, although this is the most popular one. And also, I have lapel pins, and if you can see today, I'm wearing my Pride pin. It says the word Pride in it if you can't read it. It's kind of hard there. And it's in the bisexual colors, but I have the pride pins, heart pins, and I also have them in the gay flag colors if you're interested in those as well. And also, I write bisexual romance. You can check out my latest bisexual romance releases in the description, in a link in the description below. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can also like this video and subscribe. I do many videos on bisexual topic. I try to do them every Sunday, but if you'd like to know when a new video comes out, you can click on the subscribe button and click on the bell. And by doing that, you'll be telling YouTube that you'd like to know when a new video comes out. Until the next video, stay cooler, my bisexual friends. Stay cooler. Bye.